All right, welcome in another episode of the Goodman, Hummel, and McCall podcast. And I'm Jeff Goodman. He is Matt McCall. And we do have Robbie Hummel with us. We have him with us here. If you can see, we got the bobblehead. We kind
Why
of
do you do this though? Like, why would
look.
do you got off to like such a bad start in your trip yesterday to Lafayette when you're like posting pictures of him with a knee brace and a neck brace. The guy's just trying to do his job.
He was he was a little upset, I think, with me. So I pulled back. I
There's
didn't.
probably
tweet
a reason he's not here.
He's not even here to defend himself right now. But I tweeted a couple things he wasn't overly excited about during my 7-hour drive. I had to entertain myself from Ames, Iowa, all the way to West Lafayette.
I actually, Jeff, I've done that drive. Not from Ames, Iowa to West Lafayette. I've done it from Springfield, Illinois to Ames, Iowa. First year at Chattanooga.
Really? Yeah, it's a long drive of nothing. I mean,
it's a crank of nothing.
Nothing. But yeah, so last night was a big night. I mean, it was Michigan, Purdue. It was Robbie Hummel bobblehead night. I'm told that they couldn't give those things away at the end, that they had them in surplus, and literally nobody wanted them. Nobody even wanted them. They were like,
it's just, I'm going to defend my guy because I spent a few days with my guy. We played golf. You were not invited.
Yes. What did he shoot? What did you guys shoot? I want to know. Don't lie to me
shot
either.
81. I shot 82.
Oh, he beat you. You suck.
By one stroke.
You couldn't beat him?
By one stroke.
Come on. Was it like a choke job at the end?
Does he live in a townhouse or something in Chicago? Like what? Like he's got to have a simulator. He's like, he
goes to simulator.
75 in the simulator.
Yeah.
He beat me.
Did you choke?
I did not choke. Now, first of all, my team won.
Okay. Who was your team?
His team was having team chemistry issues.
Who was your team and who was his team?
My team was me and my guy Justin Duffy, who flew us to the game. Who I don't know if you saw this, and Robbie brought it up on the broadcast. Elliot Cadeau late in the game threw a pass across the court that went out of bounds, and my guy Justin Duffy caught it with one hand.
Wow.
He's the guy that's a member of Grove 23. Yep. That's our guy.
Yep.
He hosted us. He flew us to the game. He loves hoops. And Robbie brought it up on the broadcast. So me and
Robbie
Justin.
he wants a return trip. That's why. Come on. He ain't stupid.
Me and Justin took down Robbie and Jordan Cornette.
Is Cornette any good?
Cornette had a rough day. He did not play his best.
What did he shoot?
And that's
what did
why
Cornette shoot? What did Cornette
team chemistry answers. I don't even know what Cornette shot, but
so like 100?
No, he was below 100.
Okay.
He was below 100.
All right.
But then walking off the course, we were reminding those guys that we won. And Robbie said, but golf is an individual sport.
Oh, of course.
And I beat you.
This dude, man, all about himself. All about himself.
It was unbelievable. Although, let me defend him for a second. He's calling the game. So he's at Michigan shoot around and everything, and he's the ultimate professional. Like, that's not easy to do, and then you get honored. Yeah. So if you're on Michigan staff, you're sitting there looking like, man, should we let this guy shoot around? But because he's the ultimate professional, absolutely, 100%. That's not an easy situation to be in for him, and you just keep busting his chops. So I'm going to defend my guy.
Yeah, I didn't know that he would take it that way. Because I don't think Dusty cared. Trust me, you and I know Dusty well enough. Dusty, if he was looking at those tweets that I sent, Dusty was laughing at him. He was laughing at him, guaranteed. And he would be laughing right now if Dusty saw what I did. Can you see the knee? Can you see the taper out the knee?
Would you stop?
They already had a neck thing. That was there. I didn't even have to do this. So, I mean, he is banged up right
I can't wait for the Jeff Goodman, Zach Edey podcast. I'm so excited for that.
He won't. I don't think he'll talk to me. I don't think Edey will even talk to me.
You start doing that.
Braden Smith.
Really cool moment last night when Zach Edey was walking Coach Keedy to his seat. That
Yes.
was pretty cool.
Very, very, very
That
cool.
was unbelievable.
All right, let's move on to the game itself. And
Oof.
it wasn't much of a game, let's be honest. I mean, Michigan, they didn't mollywop them, but like this was never really a game. There was never, I mean, there were a couple moments when you thought, okay, it might get to be a game and we can get it to 2 possessions, but it never got there. And, to me, I looked at it and I said to myself, if Elliot Cadeau plays better than Braden Smith, I feel like, Purdue has zero chance to win the game, and that's what happened last night.
And even in the second half, we'll go back to the start of the game.
Yeah.
Electric environment. Jeff, I've been in a lot of good ones. I have been on the bench for a number 1 Florida team going into Rupp Arena.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like that.
Wow.
I've never seen anything like that last night.
It was awesome.
It was, during the starting lineups, the way that they chant their players' names.
Yes.
I mean, it was.
They've got it figured out there. The students are huge in numbers.
On both sides.
Yes. It's unlike almost Texas Tech has a massive student section too, but that's the big difference, right? There are other really good student sections. This one is mammoth and together. In unison in whatever they do, and some of the things they do are so cool to watch.
I'm standing next to Jordan Cornette for a 30-minute pregame show, and I have an earpiece in my ear, and I can't hear him.
Yeah.
I'm like I'm trying to read his lips, and hopefully
you got to buy.
I had the double ones. It didn't matter.
I got the double. How about this?
I have the doubles. It didn't matter. I could not hear the guy.
I did a sideline years ago for ESPN. And I only had the single earpiece at Purdue, at Mackey, and I couldn't hear shit. After that, I went out and I got the double one. It doesn't matter.
It didn't matter. To start the game.
Yeah, definite.
And I said to the producer right on that first possession, when there was a loose ball on the floor, and Purdue came up with it. There was 2 loose balls, and Purdue comes up with it, clip that. Because maybe this turns into something for their team in the first half of this game. And then probably 4 possessions later, Michigan hasn't scored. And Dusty May goes like this. Just calm down.
Settle down. Yeah.
Just calm down. And that's who he is as a head coach. He has this demeanor where you see him at shoot around, he's fiery. Like he'll get on him. But during the game, he doesn't do that.
Yeah.
And in that environment, he just told his team to calm down. And their response, the run that they went on, and here's the other thing, Jeff, and I was thinking about this a lot last night after the game, and I listened to your show, you guys' show last night, you, Dallin, and Rob. It's like, I think Rob brought it up. Like, I think the bigger question is like, who can knock them off on a neutral site?
Yeah.
Maybe we see Duke knock them off this weekend, but it's not the NCAA tournament where everybody's going to be locked in, because we have seen this team throughout the course of the year. Elliot Cadeau has struggled. Guess who steps up? Kason.
Yeah.
Burnett has struggled. Guess who steps up? Trey McKinney.
Yeah.
Late in the game, when you felt like Purdue was going to make a run, at some point in time, and I think Braden Smith hit a 3 and cut it to 12. Yeah. You're like, okay.
Maybe. Yeah.
Maybe. Here they go.
Yeah.
Trey McKinney hits a 3 on the other end.
Yes.
A freshman.
Yep.
A freshman.
Yeah.
It's just like the depth of this team. There's some teams, and I know we're going to get into this, like Texas Tech losing JT Toppin crushes them. Yep. Like it's sad. I mean, because Grant McCaslin's doing an unbelievable job, and we'll talk about this here in a second. And I'm not saying they can lose Yaxel.
Right.
I'm not saying they can lose.
They can
Mara.
lose a guy and still be okay.
Yes.
Yeah, they could lose.
Because there has been so many times throughout the course of this season where other guys have stepped up. The unselfishness of their team.
Yeah. Yeah. No, they're
to have those 2 guys in the game late yesterday, in Kason and McKinney.
Yep.
That was. I mean, that's why this team is the number 1 team in the country. I don't think it's close, Jeff. I don't think it's
Yeah,
close.
I don't anymore. You know, sometimes you forget, right? I saw them in Vegas and they were so dominant, and then you're like, all right, they're winning these games close, but I think they were kind of bored for a little while. And now they've turned it on again. And they were just so much more athletic too than
Oh my
Purdue.
gosh.
I mean, that's the biggest thing. You look at and you're like, Purdue can't guard these guys. Can't guard these guys. And yeah, I'm with you. I don't think I think there's a gap now, a clear gap from Michigan to two. And I never had Arizona there. I will say that. I never had Arizona in that top tier by themselves with Michigan. But I thought like UConn would get there. I thought UConn would get to where Michigan is, and they haven't. They just haven't. So Michigan's going to go in to me, like I
You,
can't
you know
imagine.
what the best you know what the best part was of last night after the game was you guys had Yaxel
Yeah.
and you guys were interviewing him, and I thought it was a great interview. And I know the video went viral, and he seems like a guy that just, and I haven't spent much time with him, but he's about the right things.
Yeah.
Like
He's
he
fun.
seems like he's fun.
He's
He's
just a
fun.
fun kid who
The
doesn't have a
fact that he
filter.
says he goes, just do whatever Wisconsin did. If you're going to knock us off, just do whatever they did. And I don't think he's doing it in an arrogant way.
No,
I think he's just
no.
saying, like, they made 100 threes. Maybe that's the way to beat us. Just
He
make 100
doesn't
threes.
overthink it, man. He just
No.
has no filter, and Dusty laughs at it because he knows it. So when I said to him, I'm like, yeah, Yaxel said some funny things. He looks at me, he's like, oh no, what do we got now? Like, but he loves it because again, it is refreshing. You know, again, his story's amazing. Played 11 high school games, had no drive. He'll say this, played video games all day. Mother sends him to Arizona Western Junior College out in Yuma, Arizona. He's crying. He doesn't want to go. Turns out to be a really good player there. Goes to UAB. Could have left after a year and made real money. Loyal to Andy Kennedy. Then after his second year at UAB last year, could have made a lot of money going to the NBA. Would have been drafted somewhere from 20 to 30 per the NBA guys that I've talked to. And he told me, I talked to him about it about 10 days ago. I said, why didn't you do that? Like, why would you possibly go back to college if you can make the same money? He said, I knew I wasn't ready for the NBA. I knew I wasn't ready.
Unbelievable. Jeff, underrated part of that game yesterday.
Yeah.
He picks up his first foul, and you could tell once he got it,
Yeah.
Coach Painter was like, let's
Went
go
after
in.
it. Yeah.
And he was walling up and did everything he could to not pick up that second one.
And then the next
That
possession.
and
then the next
the
possession.
very next
what he did?
possession, Coach Painter was like, "We're going at him.
Yep.
Go to TKR, who had a great game.
Yep.
He was unbelievable." And I kept saying it to Cornette, who was standing next to me. I was like, "If I'm TKR, I'm walking in the locker room after this game and saying, yo, where you other guys at?" Because he played his heart out, even competing down 20. He played his heart out. But you could tell when Yaxel got his first, Painter was like, go at him. And he didn't pick up a second. And I don't even think it was even close in terms of being able to call a foul.
Right.
He
made it clear. He put his arms up and like
every single time.
Yeah.
Underrated part of the first half of that game. Him not picking up his second foul.
You know what was huge? Here's to me what I thought was huge in terms of how the way Dusty and his staff approached this game was they said, you know what? We'll give Trey Kaufman his. We are not going to double him at any point. And I don't think they were going to anyway, but they're not going to double him at any point because they would rather give him those twos than let Braden and Fletcher and some of those other guys go crazy from three or go just get going from the perimeter. Like they were able to, Fletcher after the first two shots didn't do anything. I mean, those shots in transition, those threes, he airballed two of them. He was completely off. Braden got going, but it was too late. It was too late at that point. CJ Cox didn't do much. The only other guy that was going was Omar Meyer. He was the only other one in the first half. He kept him kind of, within striking distance, but for the most part, I thought that was a really, really intelligent way of playing this team was, hey, you know what? You get all you want from TKR. Go ahead. Keep feeding them. We'll give them the tough twos, but we're not letting your guards get going.
The other piece of it too, Jeff, is they play different ways. When Johnson Jr. slides over to the 5, they're different when Mara's at the 5. But when Mara's at the 5 and you're trying to play 4 out, 1 in, or 3 around 2, whatever, if you're trying to play 2 bigs and you have Clough in and you have TKR in as well, that guy can just sit there in the lane.
Yep.
And on drives, like think about some of the blocks that he had or just altering shots because he's so big. When Braden Smith goes in there, it's almost impossible to score.
They eat him up. They ate him up.
They ate him up. Yeah. They ate him up.
He was scared. I thought he was very timid because of that. He didn't even try. A couple, he got to the basket and missed around the rim.
I would be timid too.
Yeah, I know, but you can't be. But you can't. I know, be if you're him.
But I'm just saying, like the way that roster has been constructed, playing those 3 guys together in the front court with the size and the athleticism, there's no angles to drive. I'm kind of with Yaxel in terms of the way to beat us is play in the perimeter and shoot 100 threes. Because going in the paint,
not going to work.
You have to play 5 out. You have to play 5 out and try to get them in closeout situations and make a ton of threes.
That's why I don't think Arizona,
I know they didn't play great in Penn State or Northwestern, whatever it is, but like neutral court, and we're going to see it this weekend, neutral court, and I'll say NCAA tournament, like.
How do you think Boozer, okay, so neutral court in D.C., it won't be neutral. There'll be more Duke fans in D.C. than Michigan fans, but how do you think Cam Boozer does against length and athleticism like this? Because that is the one thing NBA, there's going to be a ton of NBA guys there because they want to see this. I'm not going.
Are you going?
I'm not going. No, I got to get home.
Yeah, you got to get home. You've been complaining about not. This is the first time you ever worked.
I've been in Iowa. I've like I was an Iowa native.
It's going to be really interesting to see because when you think about it, 2 of the better point forwards in the country, and Boozer and Lindenborg, just in terms of guys that can. I mean, how about? And I hate to continue to bring up yesterday's game, and we need to move forward. But like late in the game, he's bringing the ball up under pressure, and he's like,
I know. Yes.
It was just like
he's a
things
stud.
to do to impact winning. I mean, those are the 2 best players in the country, in my opinion, that can do that.
Yeah.
I think the length and the athleticism on the inside, whether it's Morris Johnson Jr. with Lindenborg, last year's Duke team,
right,
should get them. There's no question about it.
I mean, Isaiah Evans has to have a monster game.
Monster. And they got to make threes.
He's got to make 5 or 6 threes. Sarr, they'll leave him open. I mean, again, that's the only way you're probably going to beat him because, and Gangba is going to be, I mean, it'll be fun with Boozer and Gangba up against these 3 guys. But again, Mara makes Boozer look small.
Oh my God.
And it's hard to score on him. Purdue just found that out. TKR even going up against Mara, I felt like he got a couple of shots blocked. There's not much you can do.
How about late in the second half when you felt like Purdue was going to make a run, and it was like the length and the athleticism. Yes. They blocked 2 jump shots.
Yeah.
Michigan blocked 2 jump shots late in that game. Jump shots.
All right, so you have now Michigan is the clear-cut favorite.
Yeah.
And everybody does. Are you with me where, like, I just don't see a scenario that this Purdue team can cut down the nets and win the whole thing? I just don't see it. I don't see it.
I was talking about this last night with someone, and I said it today on Sirius XM. Matt Painter's in a little bit of a bind because you would agree with this. Fletcher Lawyer has not been good.
No. no.
He's a liability on defense.
Yes.
And if he's not making, and he got off to a good start yesterday, and you're
Yep.
like, he made those
Yeah.
first 2 baskets, and then he doesn't score again until the end of the second half. He started every single game of his Purdue career. I don't envy the position Painter's in terms of that. Like, he's not going to not start him.
Nope. Nope.
He's not going to bench him.
Nope.
He's going to roll with them because of everything he's done for that program. And that's a tribute to Coach Painter, but that's a difficult spot to be in because he hasn't been good.
No, you're not athletic enough on the perimeter. You're not. You're not big enough. You're not athletic enough
To compete with Michigan.
Braden, it's the same thing. Braden defensively can be a liability. I mean, they took him out in the first half because, again,
Jeff, you were in there. He had to have taken, and I know it's every player has their routine. I walked in there yesterday 2 hours before the tip, and he was the first one on the floor.
Yeah.
He had to have taken 700 shots before that game.
Yeah.
With how hard he plays
Yep.
and how much they rely on him, he's got to wear down at some point.
Well, that's what I thought having Omer Meyer would change, and it didn't because, frankly, they haven't played Meyer enough this year thinking of, like, the long-term part of it, right? The long-term part is Braden Smith's a little bit healthier now at this point, a little bit fresher, and maybe Meyer's come a little bit further. I know he hasn't been great all year, but like we expected more than this. We expected more than this from him.
Yeah.
And it could take Braden off the ball some.
But you look at the, and I don't want to put so much onus on Fletcher Lawyer, and I'm not trying to crush the guy, but you look at the losing streak they went on the Big Ten.
Yeah.
He was like 4 for 26 from 3.
Yep.
He was shooting 25% from the field.
Yep.
And then they won that during that 3-game losing streak. Then they won 4 in a row, and he was shooting 44% from 3.
Total difference. He's the X factor.
He's the X factor.
But he's the X factor. But I still say, even if he's making shots, I don't think they can beat some of these more athletic, bigger teams like Michigan. We saw like Arizona. Some of these teams.
And not to pour on, but has Clough been the transfer that we all thought he would be?
No. He's a solid player. And honestly, I'm not sure the fit is great because then it puts TKR at the 4. And while he can score at the 4, he has trouble defensively at the 4 as well. All right, let's move on. The next thing here that I wanted to hit you on. It's the latest Mick Cronin rant. And if you didn't see it, you really need to. And maybe we'll throw it in the pod here as we talk about it. But Mick, again, has no patience after the game. A reporter, they lose to Michigan State. A reporter there from M Live asks him about the student section at the Breslin Center. And he goes off on him, says it's the worst question he's ever heard. Then the reporter, I don't even think they raised their voice, but he basically says, you're raising your voice at me? Like, come on, Mick, like grow up. Grow up, man. Like, enough. You know what? The act was entertaining for a while. Now it's become tiresome. It's become tiresome, Matt. And I know I'm obviously in the media end of this thing. You were on the coach end for a long time. And you were at a spot at UMass where you were dealing with a lot of pressure and having to deal with these press conferences all the time post-game. And probably whether you're asked about it, and you've been asked some dumb questions, whether it was by me or somebody else over the course of your career.
A lot of dumb questions by you.
A lot of dumb questions. Yeah. You don't have to be an asshole. That's my thing, is you can treat people with respect. Like, this wasn't a question. It wasn't the best question, obviously, at the time after a loss like this. But it wasn't like he was going after Mick Cronin or anything like that. Like, dude, just, again, enough, man, enough. Enough of the... And he had thrown out his own player, Steven Jamerson, after it was a flagrant, and he basically told the kid, who was, by the way, a walk-on years ago at San Diego, and I've actually talked to the kid and interviewed him. Great kid, great story, all that. And he literally showed him up in the middle of the game. And instead of just telling him on the bench, hey, you're not going back in after that, he literally sent him to the locker room in front of the whole crowd. And it's like, dude, like, again, just enough, man, enough. We've had it with this shit.
Yeah. So the Jimerson situation, I, I can play both sides of the fence in terms of from a coaching standpoint. It's like
He didn't get into a fight. He didn't do anything so malicious.
no, but like even after the foul, it's like we're down 30.
Yeah,
Like let's fight when we're. It's the same thing. And if you have a tough loss and guys are getting into it in practice the next day, it's
yeah,
like, why didn't you fight Dayton?
yeah,
Why didn't you fight VCU?
yeah, yeah.
Why didn't you fight St. Louis? So you guys want to fight each other? Like what are we doing? So like that's the coach speak, right?
Yeah.
Coaches need to always understand that you have an obligation to go to the press conference. And there are people that are doing their jobs. And there's going to be questions that you don't like. There's going to be questions that make no sense.
Yep.
And when it happens, next question.
Right.
Like that. But you also have to be able to not be so emotional. And if your emotions are running high because you lost, 2 games in a row by Michigan and Michigan State in Coach Cronin's situation where you got blown out. Now you won 5 out of 6 going into that, but you got blown out. So you're already upset about that. You're upset about what happened, and you're probably thinking about what happened in the game in terms of like, should I have done that? Should I not have done that? Did I embarrass that young man? Maybe I did. You're all over the place
Yeah.
emotionally.
Yeah.
But when the microphone is in front of your face, you have to be able to, if you need 10 more minutes
But is this
to be
him
able
needing
to,
it?
but like
I
I'm
don't
saying,
think.
no, Jeff, I'm saying this. If you need 10 more minutes to just catch your breath and go in there and be able to handle that, you have to do it. Because, Jerome Tang, the guy, like think about it. Like, just calm down before you have to go deal with the media. Just take a breath because you could say something that's going to explode, which is what's going on right now with Mick Cronin to UCLA. And I get it. Like, there's been other things he's done. I understand that. But this situation, God didn't really raise his voice. I don't know the guy. I have no idea. But he's frustrated with his team. And he's taking that out in that situation in terms of when the microphone's in front of your face. So it's just there needs to just be like, hey man, take an extra 10 minutes.
Yeah,
Take an
it's
extra
not a
10 minutes.
bad idea. I'm not sure it changes things for Mick. Some coaches, I think it would. I'm not sure Mick, another 10 minutes changes, his message. And he is, listen, he's unapologetic. He is Mick Cronin. He doesn't give a shit. He's going to throw his players under the bus at times when they don't play hard. He's going to, again, go at a reporter, whatever it is. I just, again, man, and I'll say this. I said this to Doss earlier today. The other part is I blame the athletic director too. I blame the athletic director because I think it's his responsibility not to let it get this far. And Martin Jarmon was a guy who's at Boston College. I know, I like him, but like you can't just keep allowing this. Like at some point you got to bring him in and be like, hey, this happens again, I'm gonna suspend you. I'm gonna suspend you. And it's just like what I say with like officials to some of the refs that go bananas all the time. It's like, hey, hit him with the teeth, throw him out. And you know what? If you do that, generally, it'll work. You have the power. Like Martin Jarmon has the power to suspend Mick Cronin if he wants to. And to me, after something like it's just over and over again and again. Sometimes I laugh at it. And then like last night's, I didn't really laugh. Like the first time I laughed, and then I'm like, yeah, you know what? It's just bullshit. Like grow up, Mick, and treat people with respect because I think that's the way you want to be treated. So that guy did nothing wrong to you. He asked you a question that you didn't like, but it wasn't completely out of line. And again, you don't need to go off on them. So.
As you know by now, we have teamed up with BetMGM again this season. We'll be using BetMGM lines to make all of our picks, and we will have special offers for Field of 68 fans, including same-game parlays, best-in-class live betting, and daily odds boost. If you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, use bonus code FIELD to get up to a $1,500 first bet offer on your first wager with BetMGM. Here's how it works. You download the BetMGM app, you sign up using bonus code FIELD, you deposit at least $10 and place your first wager on any game, and you receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets if your bet loses. Just make sure you use that bonus code FIELD when you sign up. Make this college basketball season one for the history books. Make it legendary. And don't forget, if you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, use bonus code FIELD and get your $1,500 first bet offer today. Today's episode of the Field of 68 is sponsored by Chubbies. Right now, I'm literally wearing their Everywhere pants. They are comfortable and stretchy to the point that it feels like I got on sweatpants in a business setting. I'm also a big fan of their classic line swim trunks. The built-in boxer brief liner is comfy, supportive, and most importantly, chafe-free. I had to get multiple pairs because I wore them every day down the shore last summer. This is year 15 for Chubbies as a business, and they are celebrating it by bringing back the shorts that started it all. The same iconic fit, the same lightweight and stretchy comfort-first design. For a limited time, Chubbies is giving our listeners 20% off with code F68 at chubbiesshorts.com. That's 20% off your order with code F68 at chubbiesshorts.com. Give your thighs the VIP treatment they deserve with Chubbies. Support our show and tell them we sent you.
Are you trying to follow everything happening in college basketball? It can be overwhelming. That's where the Field of 68 Daily comes into play. The Daily is your go-to source for recruiting news, game analysis, portal updates, and much, much more. For just $50 a year, you get access to the same information that your favorite coaching staff is subscribed to. Quality content can be hard to find in the college basketball space. The Daily is here to help. Make sure you subscribe today.
If you're not a member of the Field of 68's On3 community, make sure to go check us out. Get access to all of Jeff Goodman and Rob Doster's written content, including coaching carousel breakdowns, info on who is and isn't entering the transfer portal, insider recruiting information from none other than Joe Tipton, X's and O's analysis of all the teams in college basketball, and access to our message board community. A 7-day trial costs you $1. The Field of 68 On3. Get the scoop.
All right, the last topic that I want to get to is this rash of injuries, and we'll talk about one specifically here. Over the last week or so, it started with Caleb Wilson at Carolina. He's going to be out for, 3, 4, 5 weeks, something like that. Hopefully he gets back for the ACC tournament for Carolina. Richie Saunders, he's done for the year at BYU, an absolute crushing blow for a BYU team that, still had high hopes of maybe making a run in the tournament, and Richie's been unbelievable. Last year he had an incredible year. This year he still had a good year. And then last night, JT Toppin going down for the season here late in the game against Arizona State. They lose the game. Who cares? Because now JT Toppin, who to me was the second best player in the country this year behind Cam Boozer, and averaging like 21 and 11. He's been dominant. He's been unstoppable.
Best duo in college basketball, Jeff.
Yeah, Christian Anderson and JT Toppin. And now, honestly, and I hate to say it, but it's true, like Texas Tech's done. They're done. They have no chance. They were so reliant on these two players, so reliant on Christian Anderson and JT. JT Toppin was playing 40 minutes like every night if he didn't get into foul trouble.
Yeah.
And he was so good. I feel horrible for Toppin. I feel horrible for Texas Tech fans because, to me now, this is a team that this is what happens. This is what happens, Matt. Now you look at it as a, Texas Tech, they'll probably be like a 6 seed or something like that at the end of the day, is my guess, somewhere around there, 6, 7. And if you're an 11 or a 12, you or 11 or 10, you are praying that you draw Texas Tech in the first round now, because they are not even close to the same team.
They're not close to the same team, and this is one of those injuries where if you look at the team and you look at the roster just in terms of the balance, then here's what they're going to have to do, and Coach McCaslin knows this because he's a terrific coach. Offensively, the ball now has to change sides of the floor. They have to play faster. They have to play, through more guys and unselfishly and utilize each other. Like we've seen Kansas do at times when Peterson is out of the lineup. But you're so late in the season.
Yep.
To make that adjustment now is really difficult. And to your point, National Player of the Year candidate, National Player of the Year. It's so unfortunate to see. Caleb Wilson, we think he's going to come back, but this one for Texas Tech and Richie Saunders, AJ DeMonts is still out there.
Yep.
Like he's still out there. So if they get to a Sweet 16, you're not going to be shocked. And this is not a knock on Christian Anderson at all, but those two guys were elite.
Yes.
They were elite together. And everybody else accepting of their roles. It is, Jeff, I agree with you. It is sad because we saw it. Take Caleb Wilson away from North Carolina, what happened?
Yeah, they're not very good.
That's 20-10.
Right.
That's hard to overcome.
It's
not a knock on any coaching like that. That is hard to overcome. 20-10 coming off the floor. That's hard to overcome. Yeah, forget offense, defense. The guy's getting 10 rebounds a game.
So can they is it a success now if Texas Tech gets a 7 seed and wins a tournament game at this point?
I think it's a heck of a coaching job by Grant McCaslin. Yeah, that's what I think. I mean, it's just I saw the news today. I texted you and Hummel as you were building his bobblehead. I still don't understand what you're doing with that thing.
I mean, I left one knee intact.
That's just leave the guy alone, please. He's the most busy guy in all of college basketball.
He's not that busy.
He's pretty busy.
He's not that busy.
He's not busy enough to get in the simulator and beat me by one stroke and go by one stroke too. I'm trying to go back through the round. What was the one stroke? Did I miss a putt?
I don't know. The worst part is for you, it's sad. For me, I've had the ability to taunt him for the last year after beating him in pickleball. Now he's going to taunt you forever.
He could taunt me. Robbie does not like flying either, by the way.
Really?
So, not a big. Does not enjoy.
He'd rather drive. He'd rather
anywhere.
Yeah.
Anywhere.
He'd rather have somebody drive him, I should say. That's what he'd rather. It's like driving.
But let's get back on task. JT Toppin with Texas Tech. Jeff, Final Four team?
Yeah, chance. Certainly in the conversation. You got the best 2 players on the floor every night. Now it's man, I just feel for him. And here's my question for you, because this will be brought up. If you're Grant McCaslin, and again, he's going to miss, we're in February now. So let's say he comes back, torn ACL. Say he comes back midway through next season. Say he comes back what? I mean, you're hopeful he might be back.
January?
Yeah, let's call it January. How do you handle this if you're Grant McCaslin? Because now it's you paid him $4 million this year. You might have had to pay him $5 million next year if he was healthy to come back to keep him away from trying to go to the NBA. And he's not a lottery pick or anything like that. Maybe he's a late first rounder, probably a second rounder at the end of the day. So what do you pay him if you're Grant McCaslin? What do you pay him next year? How do you handle it?
That is,
right?
Stay loyal to your player.
Yeah.
We just talked about it with Fletcher Loyer. We just talked about it. You stay loyal to a guy that's been loyal to you.
But can you pay him full price when you know he's only going to be there half the year? Or do you tell him, hey, listen, here's the deal, man. We got to get another big. Otherwise, we're not going to have any bigs to play. We won't even be a tournament team by the time you get back.
Yeah, that is
right.
I don't envy the position.
It's a dilemma.
It's or do you if play this side of it? puts his name in the draft, will he get drafted in the first round off of an ACL?
No chance. No chance. I don't think so. I'd be shocked.
Yeah. I knowing Grant McCasland, he won't dock his pay at all for being loyal to Texas Tech. He won't do it.
Yeah.
He won't do it.
Yeah. All right. Listen, appreciate you jumping on. This guy could not make it, unfortunately. He's recovering. He's recovering from a tough day on the golf course.
Tough day. Yeah, because he had lack of team chemistry with his partner. He
81,
lost.
81. This guy, man, I'm going to kick his ass in pickleball. And I hope Rob's mother and father.
I've never played pickleball. I will not lose to you. I won't lose. I will not lose.
I'm going to wipe the court with your ass. I'm going to absolutely crush you. I don't care how good you are in tennis. I don't care how much younger you are than me.
I was like the top 50 in the state of Florida in tennis back in the day, way back in the day. I used to have the Andre Agassi pants, like the shorts with like the purple and the white.
Oh, of course you did.
Of course
you did. We need a photo from your parents on that one. We need something.
Where's our special guest today? You didn't have a surprise guest.
You know what? Shoot, I did. Next week, we'll wait. I think we'll get it for next week, but it was going to be a good one too. It's going to be a good one. But
you couldn't get Zach Edey. Couldn't get him.
No, Zach, I don't think likes me. I don't think.
What did you say negative about the 2-time National Player of the Year? How did you piss off Zach Edey? What did you do?
No, I've said more good things and written more good things about Zach Edey than anybody early. Wrote a huge feature story on Zach Edey, but I said towards the end, I said the bottom line is for Zach Edey to be successful in the NBA, he's going to need the right system with the right coach. And when they won their game to get to the title game, I interviewed him and he looked at me and he's like, "Can I still not play in the NBA?" And I'm like, I never said that. I never said you couldn't play in the NBA. I just said, like, it's going to take the right system. And I do, like, he's been better in the NBA when he's been healthy than I thought he'd be. He's been really good. Really good.
Unbelievable.
Yes.
Impacting the game.
Yes. No doubt. All right. Well, listen, appreciate everybody tapping in here, watching, following. Hummel should be back next week as long as he recovers from, the neck injury, I think.
Stop.
It was already in the bobblehead. I didn't put the neck thing on. The neck brace was already on every bobblehead. It's been a little sore.
You don't stop.
All the golf.
You and your 7-hour drive.
It's all the golf.
Get off AI. Get off ChatGPT.
All the golf he plays. Like sometimes you can get a little bit of a stiff neck.
Stop.
That's what they
sound like my wife right now. All the golf you play.
You guys do play a lot of golf in the off season. Let's be honest.